Ba-dum ba bum ba ba da da da. Ba-dum ba bum ba ba da da da. Bizarre Brain Comics. Hello, hello, hello. It's Gary here for Bizarre Brain Comics. This is where I like to take a look at some older comics and talk about the art and the stories and the like. As you can probably tell, we're here to talk about something with Superman and Batman. Yeah, this is World's Finest, number 138 from 1963. Unfortunately, since there are no credits, I have no idea who the writer and artist was. Who these creators were. Now, since this is 1963, this is before the New Look, which was started by editor Julius Schwartz. That's when Batman had a more realistic look to him. It got rid of that Dick Tracy type jawline, and they had the yellow oval around the bat on Superman. On Batman's chest. And I'll talk a little bit about World's Finest Comics. World's Finest, it ran from 1941 to 1986 from DC Comics, of course, and featured primarily Batman and Superman, and is best known as the team-up book for those two. Now, initially, the World's Finest came out of a book that was published for the World's Fair, and it was called World's Fair Comics, which was a 96-page book with cardboard covers sold at the 1939 World's Fair, and it featured Superman. It was, from what I understand, all reprint material. At that point in time, there wasn't a whole lot. But then in 1941, they started the book, which came kind of inspired by that. They called it World's Best Comics. 1941 is a 96-page quarterly title, which featured stories of Batman and Superman, not together, plus other stories from other DC characters. But it always had Superman and Batman. And on the covers, it usually had them, Superman, Batman, and Robin, doing something together. But they were solo stories. It wasn't until after the second issue, they changed the name to World's Finest from World's Best. And it's thought that may have been primarily because there was another publisher was already publishing a title called Best Comics. And that could have caused some problem right there. I think World's Finest is a better title. And then in 1954, they actually started doing stories that teamed up Superman and Batman and Robin. And these were mostly various kinds, usually involving science fiction goofy science fiction storylines, often with, for some reason, Batman acquiring superpowers of one sort or another, or them switching places, taking each other's identity to preserve the other's secret identity. They did that a lot. And then in the early 70s, World's Finest was just a team up book for, well, in the 50s they had the come down to the standard size comic book, and that was when they teamed the characters up. Then in the early 70s, it was just a team up book for Superman. Just a few videos ago, I did the World's Finest with Superman and the Martian Manhunter. And on that particular issue, I could not remember the name of the artist who did the cover. I really liked that cover. I could not remember his name. That was Nick Cardy. Correction, Nick Cardy. Oh. Nick Cardy did that cover. I don't know whoever did the interior art also did the cover on this one. And this particular story is The Secret of the Captured Cavemen. This involves time travel, alien abductions, and Superman and Batman and Robin as cavemen. Go figure. As a kid, I liked this story. I still like the story. It's fun. It's goofy. Remember, this is well. I want to finish talking about the World's Finest. Okay. Then in the mid 70s, they started teaming them up again, Superman and Batman. But this was an alternate timeline, alternate universe type with that was known as the Super Sons. It had Superman and his son, Superman Jr., Batman and his son, Batman Jr., and several years of their adventures together. And those didn't fit into the standard continuity and are not canon, but they were very enjoyable stories. They had their own continuity and within that universe, and I guess has been reprinted in trade paperback form. And I really liked those stories because they were primarily standalone or just 2 or 3 issue storylines with maybe some continuing secondary stories. Okay, and it went back to the standard Batman Superman team up until it was canceled in 1986. Of course, in more recent years, Superman and Batman have had a team up book again, which was just called, I believe, just Superman and Batman. And I don't know why they didn't use World's Finest. It was a good title. They should have just continued using it. And they became known as, and they even in their own stories, they were referred to as the World's Finest team. Okay. So here we have World's Finest, 1963, Secret of the Captured Cavemen. So let's go take a look, shall we? World's Finest. Now you can get a better view of that cover illustration. I like it. It's just sheer fun. I think they had other storylines with them as cavemen too, but I like this one. It seems like I had this one as a kid. I didn't buy it new, I don't think, because I was too young in 1963. And for some reason, I lost it, got rid of it, whatever. And then several years ago, I picked this up for nothing. It's a reading copy. It's rough. And it's fun. Here we see Superman, Batman, and Robin. And there's this kind of strange, froggy looking aliens. And here's the splash page. Again, I don't know who did the artwork. I like the splash page. The art is kind of familiar, but I can't place it specifically. And they've kind of followed on with, at this time, Wayne Bourne was the primary Superman artist, so they were following on with his stylization, and had a little bit of the older Batman style, that lantern jaw, and the like. Even though here they have a little, the Batman and Robin figures are slightly less stylized as in most of their main stuff. Anyway, Secret of the Captive Cavemen. And of course, here just jumps right into it, right at the very beginning. On the steps of the library, here's this alien creature with some kind of ray gun, and he's zapping people with what he calls his Z-beam. And they're Batman and Robin chasing after him. Great Scott, an alien being! The Z-beam is not working on the Earthlings. That's my goofy alien voice. And he tries it on Batman and Robin. Nothing works. It doesn't work, so he rushes into the library. Jason, everything is very, very kind of compressed. You don't see how this story just jumps right into it. And except for certain scenes, the panel-to-panel continuity is a bit jumpy because it's almost like illustrating text, because that's basically what it is. It has the text. Almost every, most panels have a text caption, and it's describing what's going on in the text and the dialogue, which is kind of needed to describe the action that's going on. Good. The primitive Earthlings and their leaders are under our control. Herd them into our spaceship. Ooh. So they follow him into the library. The librarian directs him. He went that way. He tore a book out, a page out of a book, and took off that way. He found the book he wanted awfully fast, because that doesn't happen in most libraries. Primitive Earthmen will supply our needs, so set your time course according to the data I've given you. So they finally run down the alien. He's communicating with the spaceship, and then he pops a poison pill. Boom! And he dies. But he tells him, "You are too late. In a few minutes I will be dead. But my mission has not been in vain. Look out the window, Earthman." There's the spaceship taking off. Now the artwork, it's nice and clean. Very slick, very professional. Good anatomy. Very consistent in the stylization and everything. Remember, this is at the time, early Silver Age, and just everything is goofy. Just about everything is goofy. So this is goofy stuff. But it's sure fun. And there, the alien's dead. But the thing he was tore out was a picture of cavemen from 50,000 years ago. So, so they obviously went back 50,000 years. They said, well, we're going to need some help, and they calls Clark Kent, also known as Superman, and says they got to go back in time, try to stop these aliens from whatever they're going to do, because whatever it is going to wind up dooming the Earth. Okay, I've got something to finish here. I'll meet you back 50,000 years ago. And Batman and Robin, they go to some scientist they know with a time machine, and they zap back in time 50,000 years. Of course, it's a whole planet. How they expect to find the aliens, or even get there right there at the same time, because 50,000 years covers a lot of space and a lot of time. And right off the bat, they run into this woolly rhinoceros, and it attacks, and it's huge. I think larger than the woolly rhino really would have been. And Batman distracts it. I like this encounter, though. Then they're assaulted by cavemen. Must be in Europe. Although 50,000 years ago, Europeans would not have been white yet. But 60 years ago, they didn't know that. So then the cavemen attack, and they're fighting them off. And Superman arrives just in time to save him from a boulder, which is what we saw on that splash page. Batman and Robin hide behind Superman for protection as they hurl their spears. Then a saber-toothed tiger attacks a child, and Superman defeats it. Now, based on this figure here, this may have been Kurt Schaffenberger art, because that really looks kind of like a Kurt Schaffenberger figure right there. But I am not positive, and I would not swear to it. It could be, yeah, and that figure there looks like a Kurt Schaffenberger too. Kind of looks a little bit like Kurt Swan too, so I don't know. So here they are. They made friends with the cavemen, and they're on the lookout for. Oh, there's the alien ship. Yep. So they've come up with a quick plan, and they quickly shred their costume. Superman happened to have a spare Superman costume in his cape pouch, which is made from regular cloth. So he shreds that, and make themselves look like cavemen. Take off their masks, put false beards on, and here they are. And the cavemen rush to attack the aliens, and then they use their Z-beam guns, and they turns them into virtual zombies. Blah, 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 total mind control. Tries it on them. Of course, it doesn't work on them, but they pretend, and they all go into the spaceship. And they're whisked away to their aliens' own time and planet. And here they are, where they're being used to mine some ore. What did they call it? Dracium. Yeah, they called it Dracium ore. But they just realize that since the aliens keep a distance, this is something that is deadly to them, but is not to humans. There it goes through an automated refining machine, and then there's no problem. When it's refined, it's harmless to these people. So there they say, there's a city. Tonight I'll fly over and scope things out. Well, Superman tries to take off, and he can't fly. And that's when they discover, when the clouds clear, that it is a planet under a red sun. So Superman has no superpowers. So they're really screwed there. So the aliens see that they're trying to make an escape. And they take out those aliens and while they try to turn the Z-beam on them, it doesn't affect them. But the aliens have the cavemen attack them. While they're fighting, then Superman turns the Z-beam on the cavemen, who fight back, instructing them to fight back against the aliens. And so they won that little bit. They see his plane landing, and this is some general, and they discover from the overhearing the stuff that this general is actually they're rebels. They're trying to overthrow the government. And here the raw Dracium ore is deadly, so they're going to have the humans, the cavemen, take the Dracium ore into the city, into the political chambers, which will kill all of the planet's leaders, and then they will move in and take over. And now they find out, because while they're escaping, the aliens drop refined Dracium onto our heroes. That's when they discovered that the refined stuff is deadly to humans. And they were going to spread that over Earth and destroy the Earth. Yes, they were going to destroy the Earth, or actually the humans, and everyone would die, and then they would take over the planet Earth. So here's this weird-looking, doggy-looking beast sniffing around. They don't have the strength to crawl away from the ore. They're going to die there if they can't. But Batman has just enough strength to lasso the thing with his bat rope, and the beast pulls them away to safety. Then they see the cavemen carrying that Dracium ore into the city. They're going to kill everybody, but they come up with an idea. Superman comes up with an idea. Then we see a giant saber-toothed tiger coming out to attack the cavemen. Oh, saber-toothed tiger! Run! And that overcomes their mind control, the fear of their historical enemy, and it turns out it was just a fake. It was just a fake. And the puppet that they had made, but it worked. Then the army is marching on the city, and it's too many for them to take out. So they rig up catapults with trees and start bombarding that army with the Drachium ore, the unrefined Drachium ore. When everyone passes out, they remove the stuff so that the people aren't killed. They tie everybody up and tell the authorities, because all this is just discussed in dialogue, and the dialogue they've got no way of knowing, because it really compresses. Otherwise, this would have been a much longer story instead of just was it 15-page story. Then the aliens take all the cavemen back to Earth in 50,000 years BC, or 50,000 years ago. That's how it is. They drop everybody off. They're all safe, and then Batman activates the time machine thing, and they all zap back to the present, and that's the end. Some nice artwork, very somewhat stylized, somewhat realistic. It's a good fun story. Here you can see Batman, and you can see the more stylized version of the artwork from the Batman title. Slightly more stylized than it was used in here. It's just a good fun read, good for kids, good for nostalgia. As I said, I didn't know who the artist or the writers were. Silver Age silly stuff, just pure fun. I always liked stuff with cavemen or dinosaurs or anything with the prehistoric stuff. That was a lot of fun. And I hope you enjoyed it. Just a little fun trip. Like I said, our artwork is slick. Not as dynamic as it would later become. Very illustratively adequate, more than adequate, actually. Because you see the good backgrounds, good perspective, all that. Look how nice and clean. So nice and clean, so professional. It's very professional, very slick. I like it. Even has some of the cave art on the wall behind them. That's cool. Pure fun. Hope you enjoyed it. I did. I think it's a creative story, because the comics code was really limited how they could tell stories, and so that's when they really got into the silly stuff in the 50s and early 60s. So that's all I've got for you. Like, share, subscribe, share it with your comic book friends, and remember, comics are art.